Okay, this is the fucking second take doing this intro, and I'm already pissed off. Hello guys, it is your boy Prince of What Is back here with What If Luffy was Aizen's reincarnation. I even got the freaking title of the freaking What If wrong the first time. I really hope you will enjoy this part. It is essentially just Luffy, another round of just, battering around people and just delving more into the One Piece world and talking a little bit about Ace and how things are going on his side and finding Blackbeard, which will actually be resolved by him because I'm tired of making Ace a pussy that Luffy has to fucking save. Like, he's Roger's son. Let me give him a man some credit, Alright, without any further ado, let's get into I already messed that up. Without any further ado, let's get into it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and notification bell to stay up to date on all of my future videos. And let's go with the recap. The last part begins with Shanks and his crew learning about Luffy's status as the strongest swordsman, and then we got to see Nami use her fullbring to steal her own townspeople blind, and she left with the Straw Hats. Slowly, Marines begin to understand some of Luffy's abilities and that of his other people, and a hunt starts for him, and this leads to them attacking Luffy at Loketown. They fail despite bringing so many vice admirals, and the crew would escape to Reverse Mountain, but along the way, Usopp would unlock his fullbring, and they fight an army of Marines beforehand, and then they meet Laboon, Crocus, and Vivi over Reverse Mountain. Luffy calms down Laboon and promises to help Luffy. The crew and Vivi get close. Meanwhile, Kobe would develop fullbringer abilities that could even hit Garp, but on the way to Alabasta, Nami got sick. They stopped at Drum Island, where, while the villagers were scared, Dalton would direct Luffy to Kureha. While he goes, Wappo will then try to take over the kingdom as he returns a few moments later, but one of his men is taken care of by Usopp, and the others are just taken care of by Zoro, who destroys his entire army before the swordsman then destroys him. But he lets him go. Meanwhile, Luffy will get to meet Chopper and Kureha up at the castle. Nami begins to get better, and later on one night, she would then meet and beat Wappo before Chopper finds her. And when the day comes for the Straw Hats to leave, they take Chopper, who was given the gift of fallen cherry blossom snow from Kureha. The road back to Alabasta then continues. The crew stops to restock at Nanohana. There, Luffy meets Ace, who he brings along on the ship. Chopper learns a bit about Fullbringers and shows signs of being one. Ace even explains a bit of this Fullbringer stuff to Vivi and about the soul and voices of things, and she even shows signs of being a Fullbringer as they then head to Aldebarna to meet her father. The crew would then split up for now. You will now open up on a battle between one marine ship, little marine ship, and a giant pirate ship, as the pirate captain would then yell, "What the hell is that, King?" at Alrighty. We will now open up on a battle between one little marine ship and a giant pirate ship, as the pirate captain would then yell, "What the hell is that thing?" He and his crew saw a giant golden hammer be thrown at them and running away to try to avoid it while it hits their cannons and rips their ship apart, causing an explosion. "I deem you guilty," yells Kobe as he recalled the giant hammer back, which returns to a normal size, and the blindfolded statue regains it as Kobe's powers would just go down, and Garp as well as the other marines behind are very impressed as they run up and begin to shake the boy and congratulate him. "I mean, that was amazing. Seriously, kid. You're as strong as a Commodore." Thank you," Kobe would say. "Attention!" They all straightened up and salute to Garp, who says this as he then picks his nose, saying, "Not bad. Only you would see something like that and say something like that," one of his people would say. "It was impressive, don't get me wrong, but you're gonna need to get used to this. You're still getting tired, right? I mean, I'm not Luffy, but I've been around that bread enough to know that you're just a low-level Fullbringer." At the mention of this name, everyone gets quiet since Kobe is under suspicion to some degree due to possessing the same powers as Ace, who was a pirate, and Sabu, who was part of the Revolutionary Army. I'll tell you his bounty later, but it's pretty high. Kobe is trying to prove how much on the side of Marines he is, and Garp had Mappo as well as his entire crew just like the kid, so they were going to help. And Garp would say, "Let's show this bastard who you really are." "Yes, sir," said Kobe. We will now go to Alubarna, as Cobra gets some interesting news from Pell and Chaka. Even the standing guards were left shocked by the news, as the king would then stand from his throne, asking, "Where is she?" Making way, the two would then watch as the door opens, and in then runs Vivi, as Cobra would then tear up and runs down, and he meets her with a hug before then holding her up to the air. "You idiot daughter of mine, what were you thinking?" "I'm sorry, but I had to. And also, I don't want you to get mad, okay?" "We asked the same," said Chaka, and Pell would nod along as Cobra would then ask why he would be, when in then walks Koza, who was part of a rebellion against him and his people, and the king would frown before then becoming shocked to see Luffy and Ace walking with him. "What is going on here?" he said. "I came here to save my country. I don't know about him, but I was wrong about you," said Koza. I'm mad enough to admit that." "He knows I know about the dense powder. Crocodile's been running circles around us. We all know," Vivi said. Hearing this from the leader of the rebellion and his daughter made the king so appeased that he thanks Luffy and a little bit of Ace because, in a way that, he's a king as well, and he says, "You must have something to do with this, I assume. Thank you." As he goes to bow, however, Luffy will then appear in front of him and hold him up as he shakes his head. I'm not only doing this for you, I'm a pirate after all. If there's anything a pirate hates, it's pests. His speed is incredible, as they say, thought Pell. I guess it's to be expected from the strongest swordsman. Hearing Luffy wasn't doing this out of the goodness of his heart, though, made the king more happy because it makes him less suspicious. And he would ask, what do you propose we do? You're seriously gonna help us? Asked Koza. Oh, he's gonna do a lot more than that. In a few seconds, I swear you're gonna be shocked, said Ace. As everyone heard this, they realized the two were kind of clearly more close than let on out in the world, and they seemed like almost like brothers. And reaching into his pocket, Luffy will then take out basically a smartphone, but a more primitive looking one. As he holds it up, from it then comes a hologram that shows and releases the sounds of his crewmates. There was a square for each member and their own point of view. How is this possible, said Chaka, as he came closer and looked while the screens lowered by Luffy, and he would say, we'll just have to wait until one of them beats the little bastard, and all of Alabasta will know the truth. This man, he's far more dangerous than just for his strength, thought Cobra. I can see why you didn't tell them, but like, seriously, says Vivi, come on. When it works, says Luffy. Their reaction needs to be as natural as possible. Also, I was just having fun. You didn't put one on me, did you? Asked Ace as he begins to check himself all over, and Luffy will laugh, saying maybe, right as the Flame Emperor begins to shake him in anger. We cannot get on his bad side, Chaka, Pell, and Cobra thought. Meanwhile, at the Rain Base, we enter the casino under its foundations as the Baroque Orc agents are actually meeting their leader for the first time since they joined the organization, and they all yell, Crocodile? It's you? Are you telling me we're henchmen to a pirate, yells Bond? They all agree on this, but upon releasing the pressure of his bloodlust, Crocodile would then make them all quiet down. You got a problem with me? Because that would kind of ruin the whole point of all of this, Miss Sunday would say, and Doublefinger would say, no, but why would you want to topple a kingdom? I just want military might, and something has been bothering me, constantly, hammering on my head. What happened to Miss Wednesday? Everyone looks to Mr. 3 because he's the informant guy, and he would say, she may have, possibly, she's with Straw Hat Luffy, sir. Hearing this, everyone begins to shiver as Crocodile would then be left wide-eyed right as their ceiling above is then shattered. All the agents would jump away from their seats right as the Straw Hat crew would then crash in from above, letting the screams from the guards try to stop them just kind of come in, and Crocodile would yell, of course he'd do this. These guys don't seem that strong, said Mr. 5, as he picks out a booger and flings it at them. And Zoro would then explode with Haki as he creates his Ashura arms and blows away the explosion, sending the agent flying into the aquarium glass that was near them. What the hell is that stuff, yells Miss Merry Christmas. Again, these names are really weird. Becoming horrified, Crocodile would then realize that the rumor and news being spread about Fullbringers and stuff is true, and everyone begins to shake in the presence of Zoro and everyone else who slowly activates their Fullbring. Instantly, however, Zoro would then go for Crocodile, who barely dodges a strike, while everyone fans out. Nami steals strength from Miss Doublefinger and punches her with it in the gut using her armor. Mr. 1 meanwhile attacks Sanji, while Usopp is attacked by Miss Merry Christmas and Mr. 4. The battle begins and rages as tag teams are involved in crazy ways, but as it stands, Baroque Works is losing every inch of the way, because no matter how strong the Devil Fruits are, even though, like for example, Crocodile has strong Haki, his is not as concentrated as Zoro's. He is then knocked through a wall and creates many sights made of sand, but Zoro would then use a second Ashura arm to block it as he would then land, saying, Santoria. Demon Strike. He appears behind him in a flash, as Crocodile would then explode with cuts, and the Ashura arms would then fade, and he would barely catch himself with sand, as Zoro turns to face him, saying, so this is all that a warlord is? Embarrassing. Don't compare me to that monster of a captain, said Crocodile, and we then cut to Chopper. As he uses his rubber ball, he will then use Arm Point to rush and punch Mr. 3, who creates a shield of wax which easily blocks him before the wax then actually slowly starts to entrap him. Crap, he got me good. How is this strong, the doctor thought. Walking up from behind the wall, the agent would then laugh while the wax would slowly swallow Chopper up more and more, and he would say, I don't even know what kind of freak of nature you are, but you do not belong in the Straw Hats. I mean, I guess even a genius chooses wrong, right? I mean, you should be affected in a bit, so, I mean, goodbye. You never had a good chance anyway. He then walks away like nothing as Chopper struggles and struggles until he turns to a statue of wax trapped by his thoughts, and he will slowly lose oxygen and find it hard to even keep a thought in mind until he's then reminded of what the man just said. Luffy chose wrong? No, he was nice enough to make me, a monster, part of his crew, so I will not die, knowing my friends will get sick on the seas. From behind Mr. 3 would then be an explosion as he turns to see Chopper with his hat off, and he had the hat would turn it into a giant pink syringe marked by black marks. You can think whatever you want, as the wax slowly would then fall off him, and he would say, repeat that again, you asshole. Seeing the shining needle of the syringe, the agent would then freeze while Chopper's eyes turn beady, and he starts chasing after Mr. 3, who runs ahead and punches a hole through a wall using a wax glove. What the hell do you have the creepiest power? Creepy, that's just rude. When a doctor recommends a shot, you take it. Throwing the tool, it would stab through and pass through Mr. 3 before then flying back to Chopper, who was honestly confused and surprised when he caught it. And as he looked forward, Mr. 3 was just lying flat on the ground. The doctor would then approach and check on him before realizing that the liquid that was in here, it's gone. It must be a paralyzing agent. Does that mean? Focusing really hard on it, he refills a syringe before then stabbing back into Mr. 3 and through him and through even the floor, draining everything that he had put into him before then instantly pulling it back, and the man begins to pop all over with mushrooms, asking, what is happening to me? What are you doing to me? I think I can create and heal sicknesses depending on. He then sticks the syringe back into him and takes back the disease he had made, completely healing the agent, but he was still paralyzed. And then the agent had to hear Chopper mumble all over and over about how much this could actually help his research in a kind of creepy fashion. And he thought, it's always the quiet ones that have a screw loose. Why didn't I know this by now? Now, as this all played out, all those present at Alu Barna currently, the citizens gathered, were just witnessing all of this, and they were just outside the palace and were left in shock to hear the things Crocodile said as he was beaten to death by Zoro, and they would say, he was just using us? I can't believe this, we were so stupid. Watching from the side, Vivi would stand with her father, Luffy, Ace, and Koza, as the former rebel leader would then say, you shouldn't feel bad about this, I mean, this is a good thing. I don't, I'm glad they know the truth, but to have your point of view twisted to such a degree, by one man, it shows how easily things can change. If I can't take notice of that, then I can't be a good leader. Hearing Vivi talk so nicely again left Koza assured that she was really the same as when he first met her, and it was just nice to meet her friend again. And in the crowd will be a joyful Igaram, proud to see justice be brought vividly for all to see for his home and country. And with this being shown, the rebels stopped their cause, because of course Koza stopped them, he's a leader. The country would then begin to finally get rain 2 days later, as if by a miracle. While the Straw Hats would occupy the castle for a while, and we're gonna open up on Chopper in his guest room as we see him plunge his syringe into the arm of one of the rebels. Though he had lost his entire arm and part of his traps were horribly and tragically blown off, his friends watch as it regrows as if by magic, and almost instantly. And the resident doctor of the palace who stood beside would have his mouth drop as Koza would yell, what the hell is that stuff? It is whatever I say it is, says Chopper. You're still gonna need a lot of nutrients for the day. The man's stomach would then growl at that moment, with Chopper then chuckling and saying that he should go get something. I heard Sanji took over the kitchen, so thank you so much, Dr. Chopper. The man would then bow with tears in his eyes. His eyes are unable to hold back any emotion, and many who were in line behind for their treatment burst out into just cries and an awkward laugh would then overtake the reindeer, who said, oh, shut up, you idiot, those compliments are never gonna work on me. And he is so embarrassed that he feels compelled to act this way because, well, he's a Chopper, but everyone lets it slide because he's clearly not used to compliments, and the doctor would then call him a genius, the resident doctor, but Chopper stops laughing, saying, no, this liquid that I have, it's the product of my imagination. It's not possible for just only me to make it. I need to find out how the others can make it, how any doctor can make it. I really want some help on this, actually, so I would be honored, the doctor would say. Chopper would then thank him, and we cut to a few hours later, as the pirates would sit at a dining table with Igaram, Cobra, and Vivi, right as a big cart of fruit is then rolled out by Igaram's wife named Terracotta. Getting served by a lady, now that's a meal, said Sanji. I'm watching you, said Igaram, as he throws beady eyes at Sanji, who apologizes right as some food is then thrown before him and everyone else. They dig into it like animals, leaving the guards nearby. The king, Igaram, just surprised, but Vivi was used to it, and the guards would be saying, their captain's eating so proper though, he's like nobility. Luffy would eloquently chew his food, and slowly, as he dodges splatters of food, but being thrown around by others like it's just another day, and Cobra would ask, is this normal? I've never seen them this rowdy, but it must be due to the occasion. They were getting served by a royal chef after all. Well, they're not acting like it, said the guards. I mean, look at them. However, as they watch and see them go crazy, they couldn't help but burst into laughter like maniacs, and they act like them. Everything just turns to a wild party, and everyone celebrates their win, while Luffy would hear the voice of Nika from his blade, asking, are you really not going to tell them, boy? They'll find out eventually. They look too happy, so I don't want to spoil the mood. Hey, what happened to Ace? Asked Chopper with his mouth stuffed full of food, and Luffy begins to talk about it. And we'll have a flashback 2 days later as Ace was leaving, and the two brothers would be walking around the street. People would still be remembering about them. They were heroes, but also, still pirates. And Luffy would say, if you're going to be chasing Blackbeard, then be careful. Why, I can easily take him. True, but he's bizarre. For one, his devil fruit isn't a Logia or Paramecia. It's a Zoan, so forget everything you know about the Yummy Yummy no Mi. Wait, like your Gum Gum? That's insane. How do you even know that? I know everything. You should be used to that by now. Sabo was the only one good at countering you somewhat, I swear. Thanks. I'm a little brother. If I had to save you, then it'd be embarrassing for the Flynn Emperor, don't you think? Running off, Ace would then say that's true, as he would then leap into the air, and Luffy would then see him actually use Bringer's Light, which left all those present shocked. Like my new trick, Ace would ask? Let me guess, you already knew? Of course I knew. Get out of here. And stay safe, seriously. With a nod, the Emperor would then disappear in the blink of an eye, and we return back to the present before doing a skip forward to the next day. However, we will open up not on the Straw Hats, but on the Marines at the very shore nearest to Alubarna. Gathered there would be an entire army of Commodores, Vice Admirals, including Smoker, Tashigi, Hina, and Iron Fist Fullbody, who was now working under Hina. And a Vice Admiral would then come up to Smoker, asking, "Are you sure this is where they're supposed to show up?" "No, Straw Hats are very good at hiding a ship somehow. We don't know. This is the best try to meet him up, though," said Smoker. With a sigh, the Marine would then head off and start just walking in circles, as some would even be biting their fingers because they don't want to be here. Like, Luffy is scary. However, at that moment, Smoker is called by a transponder. He takes it out and he's then told, "The Straw Hats have escaped. I repeat, the Straw Hats have escaped. The best possible next route may be Jaya." "Damn it, Hina is not happy," said Hina. She speaks in the first person, if you don't know, by the way. Quirky thing. Now, as for the Straw Hats, they were far from Alabasta now, using one of Luffy's very awesome Kidos to talk to someone. This someone being Vivi, who would then say, "I really wish I could come with you guys, but you know, duty calls." "Nah, we get it, Vivi," said Zoro. "Besides, you can always talk like this," said Nami. On her side, Vivi held the same device that Luffy had used to kind of, reveal everything, but this time it was connected to a broadcast that, a Kido, and this is when she also asked, when Luffy made this thing that she's holding. "I don't want to state the obvious, but this thing is, like, really valuable." "You're telling me it's like moving around with the treasure," said Nami. "I wonder if he'd let me sell it." "Get your mind out of the gutter. Why would he?" yells Usopp. "Why don't we, actually?" Hearing the voice of Luffy, everyone turns to see him walk out of the room, and he would then say that he wouldn't mind selling it. "It sounds interesting, but we do it my way. Also, let's be honest, as fun as pillaging is, business is more lucrative." "Ah, the sound of money rolling in," said Nami. "Is that all that's ever on your mind?" yells Usopp. She tilts her head, saying obviously, as her and Usopp then begin to argue, causing Sanji to kick Usopp, and Chopper would then step in and try and stop them. I hope that part of them never changes, she thought. "Alright guys, I'm gonna go. Also, thank you." The broadcast then cuts out, and a long silence would then set in as Luffy would then sigh, saying, "She can't join us." "But why?" Chopper, Sanji, Usopp, and Nami would yell, and Luffy would then chuckle, saying that they would be taking a princess away from their kingdom. That's like a big deal. "We miss Vivi." "You guys are way too emotional," Zoro said. "Agreed." They hear the voice of someone they have never... No, someone actually pretty similar. Familiar, my bad. As Robin would then land atop the ship, and everyone looks up to see her as she begins to slide down their ship before safely landing on their balcony. Nami would then yell, "What the hell is she doing here?" They all recognize her, as Nami even fought her after beating Doublefinger, but she escaped somehow. But clearly sensing their animosity, Robin would then look to Luffy. "I hear you having a deal, so when you search for crewmates, you want something special, right? I can give you a lot, Straw Hat." "Luffy, do not tell me you're about to do this," says Zoro. "What? She's beautiful," says Sanji. "Shut the hell up, you perverted cook." "What'd you say?" "You can join," said Luffy. Looking to him, everyone exclaims different emotions, but they all lead to confusion except for Sanji, who'd be love-struck. "What the hell, Luffy?" they all scream. "She's not a horrible woman, she's just a slightly broken one. Welcome to the club." "What the hell is that supposed to mean?" said Zoro. "Yeah, that's rude," Chopper would exclaim. Luffy, however, says he doesn't know what they're talking about, and he would then snicker, making them argue, telling him to take that shit back. Meanwhile, Robin would then breathe a sigh of relief. "He must already know what I can do. I can't put anything past him," she thought. So hours later, she actually settles in and starts to get along with everyone, but Zoro sees it more as her tricking them into liking her. She mentioned to have a background in archaeology and assassination. However, as she talked with everyone, she notices Luffy doing something on the side of the ship as he flew around it. "If I may ask, what are you doing?" "It's a surprise," said Luffy. "Luffy said he was going to take us to heaven," yells Chopper, and he had a glimmer in his eyes, and Robin would then be confused as Luffy groans, saying not to ruin it. "We're going to Skyline Island, actually." "You really think something like that actually exists?" Sanji asked. "Of course it does." "Alright, done." Walking back onto the ship, Luffy would then take out his blade, as Robin would then keep her eyes on it, and it transforms, and he would then stab it into Mary, saying, "Bun Kai." From the sides of Mary would then sprout white wings made of rage sheet that begin to gather, and Kyuga would then turn into another ship wheel, instantly like a cartoon, and Luffy would then yell to hold on tight as he takes them to the skies. "What the hell?" yells Usopp. "We're flying, we're gonna die," says Chopper, and yells, shit, I don't know, there's only one way to describe it. These niggas are literally flying. I don't think I can describe how they're talking right now. They are going crazy. However, Robin would then yell for everyone to hang on, and she would then use her arms to, help them hang on, and she does the same for herself as they rose higher and higher into the sky, and she could not believe what was happening, and neither could anyone. "Who the hell is this man?" she thought, as they would rise higher, higher, and the pressure would slowly flatten them until it releases as they reach past the clouds and find themselves a bit drenched due to the water in the clouds. After all this, they were so out of breath they could only lay on the deck of the ship, just gasping for breath, while Luffy would then breathe in the new atmosphere. Isn't this great? You couldn't warn us, said Nami. Realizing they, of course, aren't used to this like him, he apologizes, but he would then see Zoro stand and ask what he was talking about. This ain't nothing. Of course, you were my first mate after all. But he did have to catch his breath, as did everyone else, but after doing so, a few minutes passed, and they rose up and found their ship flying through the clouds, and it was amazing. It was incomprehensible. To answer your question, my powers allow me to draw in Reishi and control Reiatsu, among other things. It allows me to create things like this, those wings. Reishi? Reiatsu? Asked Robin. Apparently it's how Mary moves even when there's no wind, says Nami. Realizing they actually had been moving without any assistance of the wind, the archaeologist is actually dumbfounded. But everyone notices and they says that, she'll get used to it. Welcome to the crew, they all say. Yeah, thank you. This is really beautiful to think you see such things on a daily basis. They would then fly forward using Luffy's lock pose that Nami would use to lead them to Skypiea, and as they land on some fluffy clouds, they actually don't sink through it, and to know that such an area truly existed was really incredible. However, down below, the crew was not aware of what they had caused. The moment they rose into the air near Jaya, a giant silhouette of a winged ship was shown through the clouds, leaving Mont Blanc Cricket at a loss for words, as well as his brothers. You guys saw that, right? Masira asked. Nodding their heads in shock, they say yes, or we then go to the island of Jaya itself. Everyone would have seen this already, and it was unavoidable that this was definitely the Straw Hat's ship. It was almost iconic. You just couldn't. It was a mirror, people knew what it looked like. Ironically, Ace was actually present there. He walked the streets recognized and unbothered by the stairs, as he would then be moving only with urgency because he had sensed Blackbeard here. He walks into a bar as all criminals would then look to him with bloodlust, only to instantly look away in fear because what the hell is you gonna do? And he thought, trying to act tough. He then walked to and sat at a bar asking for a drink. The owner would nod and go to get him something as Ace would then smile, saying, "Gotcha." Beside him would be Blackbeard eating a piece of pie as he then finishes his meal, and two would then stare each other down. While Blackbeard smiled, Ace would scowl in anger, and everyone begins to slowly get an unnerving feeling, right as Ace would then take out his flaming spear and light it ablaze. Everyone runs out in panic, while the owner would then slide his drink over, Ace's drink over, and just duck under his bar, and a giant explosion of flames and darkness go off. Oh my god, why me? He keeps his eyes closed until he thinks that the danger has passed, and will slowly open his eyes, only to see that he no longer even had a building surrounding him or a bar behind him. He falls backwards and looks up to see flames and darkness flood the skies as people will be running from the two pirates clashing. Swinging his spear about, Ace will then charge up about 10 slashes 10 times at 3 seconds. In under 3 seconds, he releases condensed attacks and just strikes and pierces the pirate, making him spew blood and just melt as he crashes into a building, while Ace will then land on air using Ringer's light. "Get up and fight, you bastard." He walks over as Blackbeard will then get up with a laugh, saying, "Ha ha 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 ha. My Hacker blade doesn't compare to yours, does it? 2 monsters, one above, one down here. No matter what you say, I'm gonna get you back to that ship, Teach. Did you really think you could kill or cook and get away with it?" Now we will return to Skypiea. As the group would be fighting towards the presences they all felt, they passed more levels of clouds, but only Luffy was aware of Eneru's presence and interference, as he would then unsheath Kyoko's Suigetsu before then resheathing it. As he sits in his palace above, Eneru would then be pushed back by Reiatsu, right as before him then appears a giant snake, causing him to release a blast of lightning, leaving all his servants confused, only to see Eneru then scream. "Lord, what happened?" they ask as they approach. Stay back! What? It ate me?" Despite hitting that creature, it clearly injured him, or so he thought, and he'd be left confused as he then looks to find his servants now looking like undead, and he would be scared, and he would blow them all away and rip them to shreds while they beg for mercy, while Luffy would be chuckling down below. "Something up?" asked Nami. "Oh no, let's focus. Alright, this should be the place." As they pass the last level, they arrive on a beach made up of only clouds, which was even more amazing considering how structured everything was. They rode ashore before Luffy would then take away the wings of the Mary and turn it into a small figurine, right as they step on new ground, and Robin would say, "So that's why they can never find it." "Yep, don't tell anyone, okay?" "Alright, let's have some fun," he would say, as he then runs forward and lands on a beach chair, and he just eases into it as Chopper would then join him, and they both say, "This is the life." Everyone begins to mess around and just learn as much as they can while having as much fun as they can until they meet an inhabitant. This would be Coney. She teaches them how to open up a konash, which is a fruit on their island, and Usopp would then take a sip as he would explode with joy, saying, "This is so good." "Ooh, let me try some," said Chopper. "So are all fruits like this?" asked Nami. "No, that's a different variety. My name's Coney, by the way. This is my pet. She's a cloud fox named Sue." pleasure, said Luffy, as he approaches and gives her a handshake, making the girl blush as she would try to calm down, making Sanji see through the jealousy over in the corner. But then Zoro at this moment would then ask, you know that guy over there? He's coming over really fast. They look to the cloud ocean and see someone approaching on a waver. However, as he gets closer and closer, he would mess up and reach the shore, only to almost crash. But using Flash Step, Luffy would then grab him and appear beside Coney, while the machine would then slam into a tree, and Pagaya would say, how did you move so fast? It's just a skill. I'm glad you're safe. Your waver must be unregulated. Oh no, I'm just clumsy. It takes a lot of delicate balance, you know? Nami would then ask what that thing was, and this leads to the discussion about dials, which Luffy is aware of and as a matter of fact possesses many of. He just stashes them in his room on a ship. He just doesn't use them. Also, the man who is named Pagaya is Koni's father, who takes him up the stairs to their home and their kind of city. Nami will then take the waver for a joyride. So as she does, we will actually go to a different perspective, that of a man running through the forbidden upper yard towards safety from a giant bird. At least this is better than those guys. Where do they go? In that instant, one of Eneru's priests would then appear before him, right as the animal chasing him is then kicked to the wind with ease by another priest, and he finds himself encircled. I told you this was my prey, said Om. The man would then shake in fear as he begs for mercy. I just got lost, I swear, I swear. However, as he rips the satchel open from the man's Southway, would then dump out the verf, which was basically just sand, soil here in Stapia, but it is precious. What this man has just done is a crime, so he was going to receive death. However, at that moment, Nami would then appear before the men and between them as they are surprised, right as she then slam her hands to the ground and release a blast of armament hockey, sending them flying. Whew, it's a good thing I finally got some training. Come on. She would then rush forward, dragging the man before then holding him in her arms as the priest would be trying to chase after her, but the man thanked her. When from behind Nami then appears Shura, one of the priests, who releases strands of strings. They're really sharp. However, as the strings attached to Nami, they just turn gooey. She stole their, cutting, whatever. And she would then simply run through them and land on her waver before then riding forward. Sorry boys, no dice. The priests then regather at the edge of the Forbidden Land and they failed, but now Eneru was going to be punishing her. However, as they wait and wait, nothing happens. What is going on, yells Gedatsu? How is that woman using so much potent mantra? As Nami rode off, the man could not thank her enough, but he became freaked out once a Shandorian lands beside them and follows them. But Nami would say, I don't know what's going on, but you get in my way to stop me, and you'll get the worst punishment ever. You know what I can do. The masked man would then keep a stare at her until he stops and watches them just pass away, and he took off his mask to reveal himself as the leader of the Shandorians, named Wiper. What the hell was she said. He said. Very soon, Nami would then return to the island and the beach and would stop at the shore, and she would then help the guy off the bike and scream for Chopper to come heal him. As they head deeper into the city, they then walk the streets, and many would be looking at them as Nami would then ask for Chopper again and again, and at that moment, the man then heard a voice. Kali, is that you? He would then tell Nami to stop, and he would then turn to see his mother, as she would then tear up and run over, just hugging him, and they both fall to their knees. I'm sorry, I just wanted to help us, said the man. The mother would then forgive him, and everyone present remembers the man who left recklessly. They thought he would have died because he said he was going to go get some verf, but they couldn't be happy to see him back. However, they know that this also means divine punishment is coming. At that point, however, Kali would then begin to regenerate as he and his mother then break the hug, and she and him would then turn to see Chopper return his syringe to a hat after he, passed it through the man, and the stars begin to walk up. Are you okay? Asked Chopper. Yes, thank you. How did you do that? Are you a god? Ah, you idiot, shut up and get some sleep. Rumors about the group would then begin to spread through the town as Koni and Pagaya would then make their way down to see everything. Nami would then proceed to tell Luffy about what she observed, as well as everyone, and this is when they hear, move out of the way, move it! Making their way through the crowd of people, the Skypian police would then be led by Captain Minkley, who would point to the pirates saying, anyone associated with these ne'er-do-wells would be sentenced to punishment. Upon hearing this, though they feel grateful for the people, they begin to distance themselves, as well as Koni, who was then pulled back by Pagaya, right as Minkley would then have his men charged, but walking up to the front, Luffy would then simply use one glare and they all fall to the ground while foaming at the mouth. What? How the hell did you do that? Yells Minkley. However, one glare from Luffy would then make him quietly retreat and shut up, as the pirate would then take out his sword. Get down here, you insect. The sword would then elongate at the speed of light and pierce the clouds as Luffy swings into the skies, and the clouds would then blown away until Luffy would then swing down, and everyone runs away from him even more until something crashes and shakes their foundation of their homes, and they'll be asking, what did he do? Oh my god, we're all gonna die. This is definitely our end. He tried to reach the upper yard. He tried to reach God. They all cower in fear, only for Eneru to then show himself right there, and they become completely wide-eyed to see him in complete fear. Like, the man is shaking, not only due to the delusions put onto him by Luffy, but because he saw, before being pulled down, that he had destroyed his entire palace by himself. You did this, yells Eneru as he holds his staff to the sky and strikes the clouds with lightning, making them release a whole storm of lightning. He would then discharge his own lightning and gather it into a giant black ball, which begins to strike down and destroy everything, and moving quickly, however, the Sharks then move and protect those that they can. So this is God. Can I have a good Luffy, says Zoro. Luffy, however, will then approach the man, saying that will not be possible, and the giant ball will then grow and grow, as Eneru's anger does as well. It begins to even descend towards the Skypians' homes at record speed, but Luffy will then keep moving forward as he then swings his sword and elongates it before then resheathing it in an instant. Let's see how you fare against that, Luffy said, as he then sees the gigantic ball be blown away to show Eneru with a giant cut across his chest. His mantra. It's incredible. He's then grabbed by the face and thrown away by Luffy, who flies after him, and a shockwave would hit everyone and silence them as they cannot believe what they just saw. I think that's the first time Luffy's ever used Bankai against someone. You think he's having fun? Asked Sanji. Definitely. That guy's weak, but he's kinda strong, said Nami. Who are you guys, really? For Luffy to hurt God, said Pagaya. Pointing down, the Strikers say they simply were pirates from the sea, but while this answer wasn't enough, it was the only one that people were getting for now. As for the Shandorians, even from their very homes, they felt the waves of mantra despite not having the ability to use it like Aizen, who will be shaking as she looked forward from their home. Everyone gathers and far off would see a storm brewing up, and this was the perfect time to raid the home of God, but none of them dared to move. They were too scared. As they move around the white seas of clouds, Luffy would then see Eneru just attack him over and over, but he was only using not his Zanpakuto, but his hand to block everything before backhanding Eneru in the face. Stop playing with me! Turning to a gigantic creature mimicking the very concept of a lightning god, Eneru would then swing down while melting his staff to a different form. It would take the form of an axe, and he would swing it down with all his strength, and the Hake of the two would then collide, but nonetheless, Luffy blocked it with one arm. Impossible. Use your weapon at least, you freak. Yeah, that's rude. I'm not the one who feels so important to the point where I would call myself a god. He pushes back the axe right as he would then unsheath the sword, faster than sound, and the golden weapon would then be shattered to pieces in the false god's hands. It's a shame. You're interesting, but you're not so broken. I would have you in my crew, Luffy said. With a turn, however, he sheathes his sword and leaves Eneru alone as he returns to his normal form with his lifeless eyes, asking, why aren't you killing me? Again, I find you interesting, so I'll let you live, but it can't be on Earth. Hearing this, Eneru would then ask if he also knows the truth about the moon and, space pirates, but Luffy would then say nothing more and leave as the true god of Skypiea watched in amazement from afar while hiding in the clouds with his trusty steed. Even Roger wasn't that strong. Their power difference is almost unfair. He's a king. A king among kings, some would say a god. Luffy, with the defeat of this false god, would then appear back at the city using Flash Step, and he would then see Chopper taking care of those who were hurt and by the lightning sense. Eneru did have lightning as well as Haki used by those attacks, so they were kind of hurt. The Sharks couldn't stop everything. And upon seeing him return, those who were still okay would be simply ogling at him, not knowing if he was going to try to rule over them or what. But Luffy doesn't even care. He legit does not care what their eyes. He just heads and sits beside Chopper as he looked at his patient. How is she? She'll be fine. I'm trying to make some new medicines since their physiology is a bit different. Good. You're gonna be just okay, alright? The woman would then nod and she thanked him, and just seeing this would appease the people. Luffy didn't even gloat. They don't know what happened to Eneru, but it seemed to be over. He's not coming back. To tie it all up, their Kami, would arrive on his steed and just jump aboard and, land, and he removes his helmet saying, are you guys okay? Kami, he returned. Gathering around the man, they would then say it's been so long since they've seen him, and they all say hello, as Robin would then watch in a daze. It almost feels like history playing out in front of her, and she would then feel Luffy's touch on her shoulder. Come on, you nerd, let's go look at the planetglyphs. Nerd, you are far more alike to that word than me, she'd say. I'm an intellectual. As they laugh and walk together, they then head out as Luffy would then ask if anyone wants to join them, and Zoro says that he will, but Sanji, Usopp, and Chopper say that they'll stay. I'll come with, I really gotta look at that island, said Nami. That's where you're going, right? Luffy would then nod and they head off, while Sanji would then ask Queen to help him with cooking so he can make some good meals for these people. Sure thing, she said. I can help as well. I don't have any injuries, so I'll help too. Come on then, said the cook. I'll keep a lookout, said Usopp. He then heads off to the edge of the town to keep a lookout, and things will play out from here on out, okay? Upon setting foot on the god's domain, Luffy and his group would then find that there are no more guardians. His priests were gone. They were killed by Eneru himself, who had left Skypiea, and he went to the moon. On their search, they found that the island was actually shot to the sky years ago to make up a huge part of this holy land, and at the historical ruins, when they arrived there, they met the Shandorians, who thanked them for taking care of Eneru, and they rang the bell themselves. They also meet the giant guardian snake, but hearing the sound of the golden bell left it emotional and appeased. It returned to how it used to be when it once knew, one of their leaders who actually picked them up and, raised them. I'm sure that's the story. Robin would then proceed to read the poneglyphs, and Zoro would say, well, I've seen about everything today. Will you be moving in, Luffy asked the Shandoran chief, and he would then say, yeah, we belong here to begin with. Who are you really, though? I mean, to fly to our home, to save us like an all-powerful messiah. For what? For fun. Robin wanted to find out about the true history of the world, and I wanted to find the One Piece. We just ended up here by coincidence. The chief doesn't know what the One Piece is, but he has met Roger when he was younger, and Luffy embodied his spirit almost perfectly. He was just doing this for the sake of himself, so he just did it by accident, which is kind of funny, but, you know, it's just kind of, it's beautiful. At that moment, Robin would then actually say that Roger had already left his mark, his name on this poneglyph, so this meant that this poneglyph was used to find out about the truth of the world, and upon hearing this, the chief would then start to tear up. Then we've fulfilled the dreams of our ancestors. There's no maybe. The work is done, Robin would say. Hearing these words feel euphoric and relieving to everyone, because everything was just truly coming to an end. I think this calls for celebration, don't you think? Luffy would yell. The Shandorans would then all agree, and parties would soon begin. Other cities of Skypiea learned the feat of the god and came to the land of Earth, where they continued and joined the party. Other strides also joined in afterwards, and they danced around a giant fire like maniacs. Same Nika silhouette, but in this one, Luffy just looks more like a gentleman. That was my chair. Sorry about that. Night would then soon come to pass until the sun rises, and already the Straw Hats were leaving on their merry. It would have its wings out, and they were about to fall into the sea. But people would be asking, "Are you sure you don't want more gold? We're offering it up willingly." "Well, it's not fun if you just give it up, huh?" said Luffy. "Keep it. You have enough. Stay safe," Isa yells, and Coney would then yell, "Come visit again." And they wave goodbye as Mary would then dive down, incurring the screams of everyone as Luffy tells them to just, hold on tight. "Stop doing that," Zoro yells. "Get used to it. Next destination, Water 7. We're getting a ship right." "Awesome. Mary's been needing a touch-up. Also, stop doing this." "I agree with Zoro," said Usopp, and they would then stop atop the seas before releasing a giant shockwave, which causes giant waves and ripples. Everyone would then hit the deck and be left out of breath, right as they then land and the wings then disappeared. Togetsu Getsu would then return to normal, and Luffy then pulls it out, not leaving a single crack on the ship because he's not actually stabbing it, he's just melding the sword with the ship. Taking that new air, you guys. Well, usual air, but We would if you would stop surprising us. Oh my god, I'm guessing you have someone else in mind for this shipwright thing, Zoro says. As if he looks back at Jai, he would then say yes. "A man named Cutty Flam." "That's a stupid name," says Nami. "Well, trust me, he's for real." "Alright, onward." The pirates would then groan as Sanji would then say he wants to fill up some angel girls, and Zoro would then yell for him to shut up, while Chopper says that if he gets any more bloody noses, he may pass out. And we've seen this before. Calm down, Sanji. Now, what happened at Jaya while the Straw Hats were up in the sky? How will the trip to Water 7 be? Find out in the next part of One Piece. I hope you enjoyed this part. It's your boy Prince of Witters, and I'm signing out for now. Peace. I'm gone.
Yeah, you better listen. I'm bringing heat. You'll be a fan when I start rapping. Way I'll have your fucking head spinning. I'm known as spit vicious. Release bombs and go tick tick. Boom, you blown me that head missing. I'm a phenomenon. Stacking cheese like it's Parmesan. 8 different flows, call me Octomom. I'm moving fast like the Autobahn, and I'm independent, so I'm not your fucking